Hey guys, welcome back to Read with Melanin, and today we are here to talk about the books that I read in the month of October. As we are still furloughed, which I legit did not think we'd be going into November still furloughed, but here we are. So I surprisingly did not read as much. Mental health has been a very big factor this entire year, but especially last month, I really struggled. And so I didn't really want to sit down and read things that I didn't know how it was going to end. I watched a lot of reruns of a lot of shows and things, but I did manage to read 4 books and I DNF'd one. The first book that I read was Inevitable Seductions by Christina C. Jones, narrated by Wesley Siobhan and Jacoby Diem. I loved this book. I guess I'm going to read the third one because I think the third one is Cora's daughter. I think it's either Cora's daughter or the other friend. I'm not really sure. But this one between Nubia and Stefan, girl, they were sexy. They were very sexy. I really liked them. In my mind, I imagined them to be 2 very beautiful people. But this book actually dealt with some very serious themes. So I do want to point that out. Like there's talks about cancer, infertility. There are talks of that nature. So do be aware of that. But I think Christina C. Jones handled them really, really well. They are my favorite running couple right now in this series. At some point, I'm going to do a CCJ couples ranking in my mind. But Nubia is that girl. I loved her and I loved how she wants to be loved. I loved her confidence. I loved everything about Nubia. And then Stefan just sounds real fine. I didn't know they made Argentinian men like that. I might have to look into that. I read The Scepter of Memories by Claribel Ortega, read by Serena Fiallo. So this is the 4th book in the Witchling series. It's a middle grade series. Thoroughly enjoy the series. If you're looking for a middle grade series that you can read with your nieces or nephews or whatever, I recommend this one. It's such a good story. I was not expecting it to be more than 3 books, but now that it's at, I think, because we're definitely getting a book 5. The way that book 4 ended, we have to get a book 5. I read this book in a day and I was so angry, bro. I got to the end and I was like, what? Yeah, but it was a very enjoyable read. It was fantastic. I highly recommend it. I really much enjoyed it. I read The Rewrite by Lizzie Damilola Blackburn. It was okay. So the premise of this book is that it's about a girl who is hired to be a ghostwriter. And it turns out that she's hired to be the ghostwriter of her ex-boyfriend who broke up with her to go onto a Love Island style reality show. And so you're kind of put in this situation where it's I guess we're going to call it second chance romance. It was okay. I found the main character to kind of be insufferable in a way where I'm just I know that in my 20s, I was a little dumb. I feel like everybody is kind of dumb in their 20s, but I don't think I was that dumb. And I hate when I feel like that when I'm reading romance books, because the obvious tropes or the obvious thing that's going to cause the big moment, it's stuff that could have been solved so easily just by saying a sentence. And I wanted to believe that she had to keep things secret, but nothing about their interactions gave I needed to keep this a secret. And so it made it hard for me to believe that she did the things that she did and she didn't tell him about, it was justified. So I don't really like that they are together. I think they both got issues they need to work out, and both of them need to seek a therapist for completely different reasons. But like I said, it wasn't a bad read. It was just an all right read, a 3, nothing major, nothing big. So this book I actually picked up during the Halloween weekend because I knew I wasn't doing anything for Halloween because your girl's furloughed. So I read Best Hex Ever by Nadia El-Fassi, read by Fern Marks and Owen Hall. The premise of this story is that there is a girl, she's a witch, and there's a curse on her that anybody who falls in love with her will basically never know peace. They will never know peace. And this is the thing. I actually think Nadia wrote a really good book. I think this is her debut, actually. I actually really liked the characters in the book, and I loved the witchiness of it, but like it's like she's half Moroccan, I think. So there's like some tie. There's some like the author tried to throw in some like random like cultural ties and stuff. So I can't speak on that because I'm not Moroccan, so I can't speak on if the culture was done correctly or not. But I really, really need, really, like, I can't do romance books where they use the C word. So, like, for the male part, when they use that C word, it makes me gag. When they use the other C word for the women's part, I can't. So I will say I actually skipped all their little spicy scenes because I was like, I don't actually need this. I don't need this at all. Scott was his name. Yeah. So Scott is a museum curator, which was interesting. I feel like we don't get too many of those as the male love interest. So that was something different as far as his career, but everything else about Scott was too perfect. Really, really need some unperfect men in here. Cause like at this point, there's just no way to ever be like, yeah, like I can totally find a romance man. Like these romance men have bodies, they have intellect, like they know how to communicate, and they're a golden retriever. Like they're just too perfect. So romance writers, I know that you're delivering us a dream, but like, can we get an attainable dream? Because I want to see a man like that in real life, and I know he doesn't exist. The female main character, I actually really liked her. She's a baker. So she uses her magic in her baking, which I actually really like. Y'all know I love anything really involving like cooking, especially like cooking magic. So I really like that. I would like more of that. She also has a good friend circle, and her friends are weird, but her friends are weird in the best way. Cause I feel like everybody has a friend group where y'all have like weird quirks, and like those weird quirks work really well for your dynamic, but like outside of your dynamic, it may not be received as well. I really enjoyed that fact about their friendship. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I DNF'd Blood Moon. I know. And I want y'all to know I gave it 2 tries. I read the physical version. I got to a point, and then I tried to listen to the audiobook. Now, the audiobook is read by Adinrila Ojo, and her voice did not fit Kansas. So that took me out. Bella. First of all, I don't know any Black people that call their parents by their first name when they fresh out of high school. Like, she's on her way to college, but she's refers to her parents by their first name. That was already taking me out of the story. Also, nothing about this book reads Black. I got 43% of the way in, and Black is not a monolith, but Black is noticeable. You know what I'm saying? So that was also a no for me. And then, unfortunately, y'all, it really was a Twilight book. I was told it wasn't, but it is. Everything about the characters, insufferableness, the cornball behavior, like Seven and Jacob were basically the same phenotype, and it had nothing to do with being werewolves or vampires. Like, it was Jacob just in a football jersey in college, and Edward was Julian Santos, and I guess we're supposed to think he's Hispanic, but the only thing about him that gave Hispanic or any type of Latino culture at all, because he never mentions any of it, is the fact that his last name is Santos. There was a lot of telling. So, for example, Mirabella would walk up to like the museum curator, and she's like, I'd walk up behind her and see that she's cleaning something, but I can tell in her eyes that she was expecting me. How could you tell in her eyes that she was expecting you if she was facing the cabinet? There was a lot of like double telling. So it'll be like, and I was walking through the forest and it was really dark. I could see through the forest that darkness was consuming me. Like, that's like in the same paragraph. I feel like this book should have been edited a little more. And if this was not meant to be a Twilight fanfic, why is the cover very much a Twilight nod? You know? So I wanted to give the book a chance because I wanted to know what happened to her mom. And I tried to force myself to read this book, at least until the reveal of who Julian and I almost called the boy Jacob. Julian and Seven are like, I really, really wanted to get there. But there is literally a scene where they're at a college party after a football game. And guess what game they're playing? 7 Minutes in Heaven. Are we children? Like, I literally could not get past that point. So I'm sorry. I will not be continuing this book. This book is going back to the library. I gave it a chance. I got to find another Britney book to read for my bingo card because I don't count DNFs on my bingo card. And this was, in fact, a DNF at 43%. Okay, so those are the books that I read in the month of October. What books did you read in the month of October? Let me know your thoughts down below. And until the next video, guys, bye.